If you like our videos, and I sure hope you do, please give us a like. It helps us to reach more people. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, would you please do that as well? And we just appreciate all you being out there watching. And if you have something to say, please leave a comment. Now let's get to it. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Mark Clemens Postcards. It is time for another What Sold on eBay video. And if you were with us last week, you'll know that we actually broke $1,000 in sales for the first time in a while. But I am sorry to say we did not repeat that this week. We continue to ride that eBay roller coaster, and sometimes we're up and sometimes we're down. But regardless, we soldier on like Rocky Balboa. We pick ourselves up off of the mat and get back in the fight. So that's what we're going to do. So let's take a look at what we did sell this week. Our sales for the week of November 10th through the 16th, we had a total of $645.60. That was comprised of 84 items that we sold, and our average sale price was $7.69. So our sales were down 45% from last week. The number of items we sold was down 21% from last week, and our average sale price was down 30%. So you see, we took a little bit of a beating, but we're still in the fight. Let's go down here and look at the daily sales. The week started out promising. Here on Sunday, we had a total of $214.68. So that was a pretty good day for us. Monday dropped off, but still broke $100 at $131.02. Tuesday, we dropped down to $65.37. Wednesday, we perked back up again to $127.04. Thursday dropped back down to $85.98. And I want you to notice here, Friday, like there's not even a blip. It didn't even make a blip on the radar. We have to hover around in here to find it. And it was a total of $2.72. I think that's probably my worst day in my memory. Maybe way back 25 years ago when I started, I had days like that. But in recent years, I don't remember having any day that bad. But we can take a punch, I guess. And then to finish out our week on Saturday, we made a whopping $18.79. So you can see it was a rough week for us, but we're going to get back in the fight. Let's look at what we did sell. First up, we have a view in Freeport, Pennsylvania. This is a view of the Allegheny River, and you can see a bridge here going across. The town of Freeport on, I believe it was on this side of the river. Maybe this is also considered Freeport. I don't know. Not that familiar with the area. It's a white border postcard. It is postally unused. It sold for $5.95. Then we have a lenticular card, or what I would call a 3D card. It's everyone, I'm sure, is familiar with those. One of those things, as you turn it and change the direction of the light, things appear or disappear, or things move. In this case, we have some children doing something on a little bridge over a stream, and in the background, we see a guardian angel watching over them. You can barely see her here. If we could move this card, you would get a much better view of her, but it is children playing near water and a guardian angel 3D card. That one is postally unused. It's larger than your typical card. It's like a continental size, and it's sold for $4.95. Next, we have another lot of cards. I sell a lot of these. This is a lot of 50 random unused Chrome cards. They are all Chrome era cards, and they're a mix mixture of U.S. states, towns, topics, that kind of a thing. As you can see here, you got banner greetings from Beaver. We got, I'm not sure where that is, a building. Here's the Civic Arena. It used to be in Pittsburgh, now gone. Here's a steel mill view, an aerial view. This is a view in Greensburg, my hometown. And I believe this is in Butler, and so on down. There's a bridge. That's the train station, I believe, in Wilkinsburg. This is a Greensburg view. This is a view in West Virginia, and so on. So it's a mixture of 50 random cards, all unused, and this particular buyer bought 4 lots of these and kind of cleaned me out of that particular lot. And so 4 lots was a total of $79.80, probably my best sale of the week. Moving on now to individual cards. This is a view in St. Louis, Missouri. This is a train leaving the Union Railroad Station. This is an older, divided back card. It was posted in 1910, as you can see there. Nice railroad view. That one sold for $5.95. Here we have a view in Florence, Wisconsin. I would bet that is a small, unusual town to come across. This is a view of the grade school here to the left and the high school here to the right. It's a white border card. It is unused. And that one was listed for $5.95. I believe I took an offer of $5 on that. I sent out a lot of offers and put some things on sale this week in order to generate some sales, and hoping to keep up with last week. I did get some sales from that, but unfortunately wasn't quite as much as I had hoped for. Next up, we have a card that is not technically a postcard. As you look at the back, it's just blank, although you could write an address on here and put a stamp on it and it would work, but I'm going to call it a postcard. And that's an advertisement from the A.M. Litz Shoe Repair and Shoe Shine Company in Corey, Pennsylvania. It says, "Our souls go marching on." So that's kind of a neat, and there's A.M. Litz right there. And that's kind of a neat advertising card. That one, let's see, that was listed for $6.95. I took an offer of $4.66. Or I might have even put that on sale myself, not sure. Next up, we have a view in Chester, West Virginia. This is a view at Rock Springs Amusement Park. This is a panoramic kind of view. You can see a lot of things in here. There's a roller coaster here, another type of ride, or maybe this is part of the roller coaster over here. Some pavilions and buildings there. And this card sold for $5.95. Next up, a view in Johnson City, New York. This is a view of the new diner and playgrounds. So I'm going to assume this building in the background looks like a factory or something, but I'm going to assume this building kind of in the center of the card is the new diner. And the playgrounds here are obvious. You see a lot of benches and children on swings here. This is a white border card. It is unused. It's in very nice, clean condition. And that sold for $7.95. Next, we have a view in Phoenix, Arizona. This is a busy intersection in the downtown area. You can see some old cars here, some people on bicycles. You can see a lot of signage. There's a theater in the background. And this card also, I took an offer on. It was listed for $6.95. I took an offer of $4.66. But that's a very nice street view. Next up, we have a view at the University of Michigan. This is their new stadium. University of Michigan is in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Here we have an aerial view of the stadium, and it looks like there's a game in progress. The Seats are full. I'm looking to see what era this is. It is linen. Yes, it's a linen card. You can see it's unused here on the back. And that sold for $5.95. Next up is a ship. Here is the Island Queen Excursion Steamboat. It is a paddle wheel steamboat located in Cincinnati, Ohio. This is an undivided back card, an older card, but it's in very nice clean condition, unused condition. That card sold for $5.95. Then we have some more views at Rock Springs Amusement Park. The previous card that we just looked at a minute ago was from a buyer who also bought the next several cards. This is a view at the park there of the lake. You can see the lake here, and there's a large building here to the left. A nice looking card. It is actually blank on the back, but we consider that a postcard. He made me an offer of $4 on this one, which I accepted. Originally listed for $4.95. The next one, again, same buyer, listed for $4.95, took an offer of $4. This is a view in Rock Springs Park of the lily pond. You can see that here, and some ladies standing around it. A divided back card. It is unused as well. Again, still with the same buyer. This one listed at $4.95. I took an offer of $4. He's a good regular customer. Happy to work with him on these things. This is a white border card, and this one is posted in 1937, that looks like to me. And so that's a total of 4 cards so far for that same buyer. And I believe we have one more. Yes, this is a view, moonlight on the lake. This is that same lake. Let's see if we go back to here. You can see the lake and this building here. And in this view, we're looking at the lake again. Same building, a little bit different angle. Only it is nighttime, and you can see moonlight reflecting on the waters. That is a divided back era card. It is also postally used, 1910. So that was a total, I believe, of 5 cards all went to that same buyer. Next up, we have a view at State College, Pennsylvania, at the Pennsylvania State College, now Pennsylvania State University, I believe. And this is the Creamery building. It is a divided back card. It is unused. You can see some shadowing or yellowing on the back. It obviously was in an album. You can tell that from the markings at the corners and here in the center. But regardless, unused divided back era card, that sold for $5.95. Here we have a real photo view. This was a card that I had put in my not sure what to do with real photos, which I sometimes revisit and try to figure out what they are if they're not clearly identified. This one is not identified on the front, but fortunately it was postally used, and between the postmark here of Sunapee, New Hampshire, and then the message on the back, I was able to determine a little bit more about this card, that it was indeed in Sunapee, New Hampshire. This is a boathouse here to the left. Well, that's one heck of a nice boathouse, and the main house is over here on the right. It's a little bit obscured by trees. But that was enough information to sell this card. I listed it up for auction at $7.95, and it received 1 bid and sold for that amount. Here's another real photo card. This is in Mexico. This is the Paracutan volcano erupting in 1943. So this was taken actually at the time the volcano was erupting. I don't sell a lot of foreign postcards, but I thought this was interesting. It is postally used. You can see that on the back. And also listed that up for auction at $7.95. In it received 1 bid, sold for $7.95. Here is another card from Mexico. This is the Agua Caliente Spa, and we are looking at their patio and the swimming pool. This was located in Tijuana, Mexico. This is an unused real photo postcard. We can see the stamp box here that gives us the general date range. And in this case, that's a DOPS box, so that's not between 1925 and 1942. We can at least narrow it down that much. And this one was also listed for auction at $77.95. It received 2 bids, finished at $8.50. Here's a view in Erie, Pennsylvania. This is the ferry boat Christina May, and it is there to ferry passengers to Presque Isle State Park. It is a Chrome Era postcard, unused. That sold for $5.95. Here's a view in Pueblo, Colorado. This is the railroad depot, and you can see a train there. It is a Rock Island train at the depot in Pueblo. This is a divided back card. It does have a white border, but it is dated 1908, so it's a divided back card, and it is postally used, as you can see, and it is also a real photo. Initially, you could see that it is a printed card and doesn't have the typical look of a real photo, but on closer look, it indeed was a real photo postcard, and that sold for $7.95. Here's the Brooklyn Bridge in New York. This is an undivided back card. Again, you can see it's been in an album for a while. You can see the shadowing there. And I don't know what it is about the Brooklyn Bridge, but almost every time I put the Brooklyn Bridge up, it sells pretty quickly. And I mean older views. Generally, the newer linen types don't do well, but anything that's an older view of the Brooklyn Bridge seems to sell quickly for me. So I found that one, put it up, and it sold fairly quickly for $5.95. Here's a view in Cumberland, Maryland. This is the Hotel Boulevard, and this is an older listing. If we look up here, you can see I originally listed this in 2014, so it's been on there for 10 years. As I always say, don't give up on your older listings. Their day may come, and in this case, it did. This one's got a white border card. I don't have the back shown here. So if we go down here to my description, I can see that it was unposted. So not much to see on the back anyway. It does have some speckles around the edges. Don't know what that's from. But regardless, it sold for $5.95. Here is another batch or a lot, I should say. This is a lot of 100 unused assorted eras. Again, U.S. states, towns, views, and that kind of thing, but these are all unused cards. This looks like, Belle Isle in Detroit, Belle Isle Park. Here is a view in New York, Metropolitan Opera House. Here's a view, Thousand Islands, New York. Here's a scene in Mackinac Island, Michigan. We have an organ recital in San Diego, California. Here's a view of State Street, Chicago. Bardstown, Kentucky. Beach in Florida. Oil City, PA. Bandshell in Chicago. And so on. There's a motel. There's a view in Silverton, Colorado. So it's just an assortment. I guess the main attraction would be here. It's unused. So anyone who likes to mail postcards, these are all available to actually write on and post. And you could see I had listed this at $19.95. It got 2 bids and ended at $22.50. So that's like less than 25 cents a card. You could not go to a store these days and buy a postcard for that. So if you like to mail postcards, this is actually a good buy. You're getting them way cheaper than you could go out and buy new ones. Plus you have the advantage of these are old vintage postcards, and people you send them to might say, hey, this is cool, where did you get this? And you would say, I got that at Mark Clemens Postcards. So please come here and buy them if that's what you're looking for. I have more available, and if you don't see something you're looking for, ask me. Maybe I could put together a lot for you. I sometimes can fulfill requests, so don't be afraid to ask. That was a shameless plug, but after all, this is my channel, and I guess I can do that if I want to. Next up, we have a view of the Midland Railway Station, and this is in Walkersville, Maryland, and this is actually an artist rendering. It's not an actual photo. It's an artist rendering. We look here, we can see a little bit more on the back about what we're looking at. And this card was produced in 1986, so it's not particularly old, but it is interesting. The artist is S.E. Kemp, and I thought it was interesting, even though it's a fairly modern card, as you would say, and it sold for $7.95. Here's a view in Summerfield, PA. This is the Old Brown Tavern, and this card is part of the Cumberland Road series. If you look here on the back, you can see up here in the corner, it says Cumberland Road series by John Kennedy Lecoq of Amity, PA, and then we have a description here of what we're looking at. This was a series of cards they produced. I don't know how many cards are in this series, but I'm going to say I've seen probably at least a dozen different ones of that series. So if you come across those, that's a good card to list. This particular one sold for $5.95. Next up, we have a real photo. This is a little boy posing on a horse or pony, and my wife always, when I say pony, she corrects me as to what a pony is. It's not just a young horse. A pony is a specific type of horse. I don't know which one this is, but perhaps some of you out there know. But anyway, we have a little boy on a horse. And this is an unused real photo postcard. I have shown these before. I know that at one time in the early 1900s, photographers would go around neighborhoods and they would have a pony or a horse or sometimes a donkey or something with them, and they would ask people if they would like to have their child or even an adult, I guess, pose on the horse or pony, and they would take a picture. Now, I don't know if that's what it is. I don't see a photographer credit on here, so it could just be that this family had a horse and the little boy is sitting on it. But I did know that that's something that photographers used to do to generate some business. Nonetheless, this is a cute view of the little boy there, and it sold for $7.95. Here's a view in Emlenton, PA. This is Main Street, looking east from 6th Street. You can see a nice wide street there. There's a couple horse-drawn wagons in view, and a big sign there for Farmers National Bank. Emlenton is a nice little town north of us, and we have been up there a time or two. Probably haven't been there in 20 years, though. They had a couple very nice antique stores back when last time we visited. I don't know if they're still up there, but a very nice town. This is a very nice view. It is a divided back card, posted in 1910, and it sold for $7.95. Next up, some more lots. This buyer bought 2 lots, a lot of 100, again, unused assorted era cards. There's Dutch Haven in Lancaster, PA. A bridge in Allentown that looks like the World's Fair in New York card. Here, Bucknell University in Lewisburg, view in Albany, New York, view in Nantucket, Massachusetts. So that is a lot of 100 unused cards. That one sold for $21.95. And the second lot here, again, unused, assorted eras, just like the other one. There's looks like a motel swimming pool. We have a view in Uniontown, PA, Fort Necessity. There's a Temple of Music in Buffalo, New York. There's a view in Thousand Islands, New York. Here is a view in Mackinac Island, Michigan. Balboa Park, San Diego, California. So again, a nice mixture of unused cards, and that one sold for $21.95. So this particular buyer picked up 2 lots of 100 for a total of $43.90. Here's a railroad view. This is the Royal Blue locomotive on the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad. It says Streamline Locomotive number 5304, the Royal Blue. You can see it steaming down the track. That is quite a, I don't know, what would you call that? That's like an Art Deco styled streamline train. This is a Chrome era card. It is postally unused, like an early Chrome, I would say. And that card sold for $5.95. Here is a reproduction postcard. I have mentioned these before. I have quite a few of these. This is made from an actual postcard, but it itself is not an actual postcard. It is a reproduction. They have taken an actual postcard. In this case, it was the Scottdale Bank in Scottdale, Pennsylvania. It is an advertising type card. It has a calendar on here for December of 1909, as you can see down in the corner there. Looking on the back, it was postally used in 1909, but a copy was made of that card. It was enlarged and it was laminated on both sides, which makes it very nice for framing. And as I said, I have quite a few of these, and this one sold for $5.95. Here's a view of the Summit Diner in Somerset, Pennsylvania, not too far away from us here in Greensburg. This is a Chrome era card. You can see it is unused. And this is a nice nighttime view. You can see the lot of lights and neon sign there. This diner is still in operation in Somerset. And this particular card sold for $5.95. Here we have a view of the Glen Haven Amusement Park in Rochester, New York. This is a card I put on sale. You can see it's 25% off. It was originally $5.95. I lowered it to $4.46. That's what it sold at. Divided back card, posted 1909. And you can see the original start date was in 2016, so it's been on there for 8 years. A little surprised that usually amusement park cards of almost any kind sell fairly quickly, but this one for some reason sat around for a while. But it is going to a buyer now, and at $4.46. Getting near the end of our views here. This is a view at O'Hare Airport in Chicago. This is a view inside the field control tower. You can see the air control people at work here, and a view out the window. You can see a jet out there in the runway. This is a Chrome era card. It was dated 1965, and it sold for $5.95. Here's a view in Morgantown, West Virginia at West Virginia University. This is the Agriculture Building. It is a divided back era card, unused. And it sold for $9.95. That one sold pretty quickly after me listing it. Here's another railroad card. This is a Southern Railway locomotive, number 630 at Toccoa, Georgia. And you can see it is under power, moving down the tracks. A Chrome era card. It is unused. And that sold for $4.95. And I think up last for the week, we have a view in Milford, New Hampshire. This is Lawwood in winter. So obviously this is someone's home, and I've seen many cards of rich or wealthy or well-known people in an area would like to call their homes, give them a name, give the estate a name. And in this case, this particular home is known as Lawwood, and this is a wintertime view. Has a nice, like a birch bark border area around it. It makes it looks like the card is in an album, but this is actually all just part of the card. It is a divided back card. It was posted in 1909, and it sold for $4.95. So that is all the sales for this past week. As I said, it was a little disappointing after last week, but that's how eBay works. So we're just going to keep on listing and keep working and hope for better results. So now we've taken a look at that. It's time for the next phase of our video here. And I hope you have worked up an appetite, because today we are once again going to be looking at some restaurants, and maybe my thumbnail was a hint towards that. I hope it was. So let's take a look.
I hope you are hungry, because it is time for a delicious helping of restaurant postcards from Mark's personal collection. Take a good look at the menu, but please don't drool on the postcards. Grab your fork and knife and let's dig in.
Okay, without further ado or further corny introductions like that one, let's take a look at some restaurant postcards. I have to say at the start here, when I first started showing these cards, particularly the restaurant cards, I kind of skipped around in my collection and was looking for, just interesting cards to show. And then I realized I can't keep track of what I'm doing. So I started over, and I'm going through my collection of postcards in order to show you pretty much everything that's in there. But because I have started over, I probably have shown you some of these cards before, and I apologize for that. If you've been following me and you've seen them before and you say, hey, dummy, I saw that card before. I know, I'm sorry. But in order for me to keep track of where I'm at, I have to go through them in order. So please just enjoy them. And if you've seen them before, you can go do something else, or if you want to do that. But anyhow, let's start with this one. This is the Gator Diner, and I have to say this card here is a reproduction of an original card. This card is pretty difficult to come by, and if you could find one, it would probably be pretty pricey, unless you were lucky enough to find it in a shoebox of somebody who didn't know what they had. But this is actually a reprint of the original card. This diner with the cool sign and the big gator up here at the top was in, St. Petersburg, Florida. And I don't know what this is down here. It looks like some kind of a smudge. It must have been a defect on the original card, and when they copied it, it transferred over. But anyway, it's still a very cool card, even though it is this one's not an original. Next up, we have one other card that is not an original, but a copy of a reproduction of an original. This is the Boulevard Diner in Camden, New Jersey. And that's a pretty long diner, maybe a little bit longer than your typical diner. And you got your old car parked out front, but a cool card nonetheless. And even though this is a reproduction, again, probably pretty hard to find this card. Now let's get into some actual postcards that I actually own, originals. This is the Waterfront Inn in Belvedere Junction, New Jersey. And you might have also known I have eliminated myself from the screen view here, because who wants to look at me when there's these beautiful cards to look at? So I can present them in all their glory without my ugly mug as a distraction. So again, back to the Waterfront Inn, Belvedere Junction. Must be lunchtime, dinner time, lots of cars parked out front, hungry people in there. And that is a Linen Era card. Next up, we have a diner in Rutland, Vermont. This is Lindholm's Diner in Rutland, Vermont. And this is, it's a black and white view with this blue toning to it. You can see the diner here. Almost looks like, has the look of like a streamlined locomotive coming at you here. Off to the left here, you can see a Texaco station next door and an old car, And let's take a look here a little bit closer. You can see the diner parking over here. There's the Texaco station. Here's a signpost with mileages to different things. Pittsford, Barrie, Montpelier, Burlington. So directions to different towns in Vermont. So that's an interesting card there. Next up, another black and white. This is Top's Diner in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. This is a Chrome Era card. This particular one was posted in 1952. But again, a nice, something that diners were noted for, or was common to them, is a nice big attractive sign at the top. No doubt a neon sign here on top of the building. Next, we have the Circle Diner, and we're going back to New Jersey for this. This is in Flemington, New Jersey. And you can see, again, busy parking lot, lots of old 50s era vehicles out there. And the big sign off to the left here along the road to catch your eye, Circle Diner, with a waitress there on that sign. I bet that's interesting in the evening when that's lit up. Next up, we have Ed's Diner in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, another Chrome Era card. In this particular case, there's no vehicles in the parking lot, so they were, this was taken at a time when they weren't open, I would suppose. And a nice view, again, a big attractive sign here to catch your eyes. You're coming down the road. And then we're going to the Spa City Diner. This is in Saratoga Springs, New York. A Chrome Era card. It says up here, fine foods, ice cream bar. So there's a plus. So you have a tasty meal and a dessert. And you have your signage and your older vehicles out front. Here is the Colonial Diner in Stroudsburg. This is a multi-view card, postally unused, Chrome Era card, and you have the two views, the exterior of the building there. And we have the interior view where it's pretty spacious for a diner. You have your typical counter, but you have not only booths over here, but you also have room for some tables and chairs in the middle. So a little more spacious than your typical diner might be. Then we have the Trail Diner, and the Trail Diner was north of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. This particular card is a Chrome Era card, and it was used in 1965. Give you an idea of the age or the date range there. A multi-view, again, you got your interior view, looks more like a normal restaurant there. A much larger building, not so much in the traditional diner styling, more like your typical restaurant. Then I'm guessing they're going back to New Jersey again. This is Johnny's Diner in Somerville, New Jersey. Again, a view taken before they were open. I don't see any vehicles outside, But there's Johnny's, and he's got that big sign up on the roof. Make sure he catches your eye and gets you to come on in. Next, we have the Summit Diner in Somerset, Pennsylvania. And if you have been watching since the beginning of the video and you saw the what sold portion, you would know that I had this card. Summit Diner was one of the items I sold this week. Not this particular view. The view that I sold was at night, a nighttime scene. This is what it looks like in the daytime. And again, this diner is still in operation today. This is a Chrome era card, but you can still go to the Summit Diner in Somerset and catch a bite. Next up, this is a cool one. This is the Peter Pan Diner in Newcastle, Delaware. And you can see it's a multi-view card, because up here in the corner, this is no doubt the sign that is out along the roadside to catch your eye, with the big sign with Peter Pan on it, and the B29, home of the B29 burger. I don't know what that is, but it sounds good. And then on the building itself, you have, again, Peter Pan in a large part of the sign with the words, and then a bowl of ice cream. It's a Chrome era card, posted in 1955. And you can tell from the vehicles outside. If it wasn't posted, you'd still be able to tell the general age just by the vehicles parked outside. So that's pretty cool and unusual with that signage. Next up, it is the Colonial Diner in Stroudsburg. We just looked at that card, but here's a different view. This first one was Chrome. And this one is a linen era card, and then we can move in on it a little bit. There's the exterior of the building. This time we're looking at it from a different angle. And here's the interior. And as typical, you have your long counter and some booths, but you also have some tables and chairs, because this diner is nice and wide. It's pretty roomy in there. Next up, we have the Super Chief Diner in Carson City, Nevada. And this was a little bit more unusual looking from the exterior. Almost looks like a submarine, or perhaps, again, a streamlined locomotive. Interesting looking building. Got a little canopy over the entrance. Your sign up there, Super Chief, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and they have pan-fried chicken. So, cool view there. Then we have the Lemoyne Diner, and that would be in Lemoyne, Pennsylvania, near Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. A nice, attractive Art Deco style building there. Coffee, ham, and egg sign up on the top. Diner, you got your clock. A lot of diners featured clocks up here above the entryway. This is a nice linen version and an attractive card. Then we have Bob's Diner in Columbia, PA. Again, we're in the general vicinity of Harrisburg. And we have the traditional style of diner. This is a linen card, and we have the signage here, Bob's Diner, and another attractive card. This is Pushnik Brothers Diner in Lebanon, PA, a linen era card, and it is a multi-view featuring 3 views. We have the entryway here. Well, actually, I think what we're seeing here, I'm sorry, it's my mistake, is these people have more than one restaurant. Actually, they have 3. They have the Lebanon Diner, they have Pushnik's Bar and Grill, and they have the Gin Mill restaurant. So, let me see if I can decipher this here. Obviously, this is the diner, the bottom view here. And then over here, we have, I don't know. One of these is the bar and grill. I'm guessing maybe this one. And then we have the Gin Mill restaurant. I'm guessing maybe that one. So the Pushnik brothers own 3 different eating establishments, and they are all featured on this card. I should have looked at that closer before I started yapping about it. But that is interesting. 3 different facilities all on one card. Let's see what's up next. Next we have the Hightown Diner in Hightstown, New Jersey. You might have noticed a lot of these diners are in New Jersey. I don't know why that is, but they are. This is a linen era card, and again, it's a nice, attractive card with that streamlined Art Deco style building and the big sign on the top. And I'm betting over here above the door, that's a clock. I can't see it clearly, but I bet you that's what it is. Next up, we have the Clearview Diner. This is midway between Harrisburg and Lancaster, Pennsylvania. A linen era card. Not so much your typical looking diner, more like a restaurant. But they do have the big signage. And let's see what's over here. It says Esso Service. So there's a service station nearby. So gas. Of course, makes sense to couple food and gas for your car together, so you can kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone when you're traveling. What do we have next? This is the Mountaintop Diner. This one is 10 miles north of Williamsport, Pennsylvania, on Route 15. And this is a little further away view, so let's zoom in a little bit. That's your typical looking diner. Got some cars in the parking lot. Looks like 50s era. The sign says hot turkey, submarines, hot pork, and beef. A linen era card. This particular one is unused. Next up is the Bellevue Diner. That's in Montgomeryville, Pennsylvania. And you can see they have a nice roadside sign to attract your attention. We've got drive-in, dinners, platters, businessmen's lunch, booths and baby chairs, and seafoods. So trying to catch your attention with almost anything you could think of there. And above the door here says where food attains perfection. And it is air conditioned. So come on. What more could you want from a diner? Next up, we have the Cajun Diner. We're back in St. Petersburg, Florida for this one. This is St. Petersburg Holiday Isles at the Triangle on Madeira Beach. Zoom in a little bit. Again, there's your typical style Art Deco diner. Nice signage there above the door. Looks like, I don't know, is it a pelican up there? Some cars in the parking lot. A nice, attractive card. This is a linen era card. It has the deckled edge or the scalloped edge, as you can see. Nice, clean condition and a nice place to eat by the looks of it. And lastly, for this menu, we have the Edgewood Diner in Edgewood, Maryland. And again, once again, we have our traditional style diner. Big sign to catch your eye there. Got some vehicles in the parking lot. And they are stopping in for a bite to eat because they are hungry. And I hope after this look, you are hungry too. I think I am. So I'm going to go get something to eat. I do appreciate all of you weekly tuning in to see these videos. I appreciate you watching, and we will see you next time.